My name is Jason Salomi, and this is Perfection, an athlete's perspective. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Perfection, an athlete's perspective. And today I have a very, very special guest, someone you could argue is my dream guest, really. I've wanted to get on for a long time. I came across his work through a friend of mine who who looked at some of his, should we say, unorthodox ways of teaching movement. Um, he's a track and field coach. He's an innovator. He's a movement specialist. He's Adarian Barr. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm outside, so maybe a little bit of background noise, but I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, you know what's funny is that I've been called unorthodox a long time. It's a
yeah,
weird term. I used to get mad about it. Yeah, I used to get mad about it. Now I kind of appreciate it. I would go on job interviews, and they go, "Yeah, he's kind of unorthodox." Like what does that mean? So now I kind of appreciate it and stuff. Because when I first started this, I was trying to be like everybody else.
hmm
And then when I decided to not be like everybody else, that's when things started clicking.
No, definitely, man. So my name's Jason. I play American football for the Dresden Monarchs, the semi-pro team in Germany, and I play for the Great Britain Lions. Previously played for the London Blitz in London and the University of Portsmouth. And I just wanted to reach out to you. Like I said, a friend of mine, a trainer of mine, reached out to me and showed one of your videos. And since then, that must have been about in November. I've been sort of like hooked and looking at all of your stuff, and I just wanted to speak to you about sort of speed training and movement, change direction sort of stuff, and just get your perspective on it and in my journey to become a better athlete, and hopefully anyone else is listening in their journey to become
Okay,
better athletes.
okay.
Yeah, awesome, man. So the first question, I was listening to you on another show, and you spoke about the weight room, and you spoke about your own struggles in the weight room when you played American football. Um, and I just wanted to ask you, in your opinion, is the weight room really the key to athletic performance in football and sports in general? And have we got it wrong? Are we looking at it a wrong way?
Well, let me correct one thing though. I haven't played football since high school,
Yeah,
but that's where my struggle was in high school.
yeah,
Because like once again, my struggle came about because I could play,
yeah.
but the coaches were biased against me because I wasn't in the weight room, even though I was one of their better players.
hmm
And I think that becomes my problem more than anything else is when we start judging people based on what they're doing in the weight room versus what they're really capable of doing on the field.
Yeah,
You may think, because a lot of times, especially with football, it's about are you ready to scrap or not scrap, you know?
absolutely.
And so if you're not ready to scrap, it doesn't matter how strong you are.
Mm.
And so we get into these things where that's the whole thing. So I think, like I said, with weightlifting, and for me, weightlifting came natural. When like I said, when I started to lift, I didn't lift till I got to college. I didn't lift weights till I got to college. And I didn't get to college till I was 21. But before that, if you go back to my high school days, the college days before I got to college and everything, I mean, think about this here, where how many guys lifting weights can triple jump 50 feet at the age of 16, 17 year old? You're talking about, you know,
Mm.
how many guys can long jump, 23 feet, in high school, run 10-8 in the 100, dunk just standing under the basket. No run up, just jump and dunk. I'm only 5'10" with no
Mm.
weightlifting. So you know what I'm saying? I'm an athlete, and I think that's what we gotta look at first is we gotta get back to being athletes first.
Yeah.
You know, by the time I started lifting weights, I don't know what it added, but at one point in time, I'm lifting weights. Like I said, lifting weights was easy. I had no problems, squatting, deadlifting, picking it up. It was easy to me. But by the time I really got to that next level in track and field, I had this coach, and he said, "Hey man, stop lifting the weights." When I stopped lifting the weights, I got that much better again.
Mm. No,
So
I'll go for it, coach.
so that becomes the thing is that, like I said, I think that the problem with the weightlifting is the bias that comes with it.
hmm
Versus if because everything, like I said, if you're in the weight room working out, they forget, man, he's working hard, but you suck on the field.
Mm.
but he worked hard in the weight room, but he sucks on the field.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's that's kind of the attitude that people have now. And people think that because I'm in the weight room, I'm going to play. No, either you can play or you can't play. It's like, and everybody's strong. I mean, think about this here. If you look at like college, let's take college. Let's just go with college.
Yeah.
And let's go like University of Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
University of Clemson. Who's stronger? Who has the strongest team? They all squatting, they all bench pressing, they all, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. So what's really helping you win? Who had the better athletes? Alabama.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's yeah,
So so
yeah,
so
yeah.
so you know what I'm saying? It still comes back to that. You got to be an athlete still.
Mm-hmm. So when do you think it got to that stage where because it seems to be universal, a lot of coaches in Europe as well have this attitude where you need to be in the weight room to play. How did that happen? And do you know when it started?
I think it started because of the money. I mean, the money involved in weightlifting, the buying of the equipment, all that kind of stuff, and also with weightlifting. If you go back to the high school level, and they had bigger, stronger, faster programs and things like that. You go back to these things where what excuse do you have? What excuse do you have? We're not working hard enough. So work hard means more in the weight room.
Mm,
And so it just became that, even the thing about we're going to outwork the next team. You don't know what the next team's doing. So how are you going to outwork them?
mm,
So we came with a lot of these things in our head about the next team, you
mm.
know. But now if you look at not this Super Bowl, but the previous Super Bowl, uh, was it the Chiefs and the 49ers?
Yeah,
What did the 49ers say after the Chiefs beat them?
I can't remember. What did they say?
They were faster than us.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it.
No, nobody said, hey, them dudes was whooping us in the trenches. They were stronger than us. What did they say? They were faster than us.
Yeah.
So even at that level, it came down to one thing. They were faster because all them guys are lifting weights.
Mm,
You think the starting center for one team is not lifting weights? And like the starting center for another team, I mean, remember Rodney Harrison? I mean, that dude was a beast.
yeah, he was a great player.
Great player, but he was a strong dude because he was a strong dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the things he did in the weight room was more off showing his ability to be an athlete, not because that you know. So I think that becomes a thing. Yeah, I think it's like I said. I like weights. I think weightlifting helps you prepare for the pounding you're about to take,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter what sport you're playing, you're taking a pounding.
Yeah.
Whether somebody hitting you, whether like I said, I mean, think about trying to triple jump, 16, 17, 18 meters. You can take a pounding.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think weightlifting helps with those type of things, but I don't think it helps you become the next triple jumper or become the next, Jerry Rice or the next, whoever. I
Yeah.
don't think it helps you become that. If you look at, great players are strong players already. They're
Mm.
just strong. And the other ones, if you look at if you rattle off, and you got to go back to this too. Go back to, and this may be, dating myself, but Ronaldo Nehemiah was a fantastic hurdler, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they used to have this all-star competition on CBS or
Mm-hmm.
ABC all-star competition. They would pit athletes from different sports in these various things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this where some things, this where the track thing, football thing kind of really took off. If track, he got track speed, but he can't play football. When Ronaldo was lifting as much weight as the football players, everybody freaked out.
Mm.
Next thing you know, he got invited to try out for pro football.
Yeah.
And they said, well, he can't catch a ball. Well, he ain't trained to catch a ball. But see, they was mad because he was strong as they were. See what I'm saying? They mad
Yeah. I
now.
got you. Yeah.
Now they're gonna pick on something else. Well, he can't catch a ball. Well, y'all didn't say nothing about catching no. Y'all, so 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 they have this thing where it's about strength, but then this guy's so strength, well, he can't play football because he didn't grow up playing football.
Mm.
So of course he may not have the hand-eye coordination of somebody who's been playing football, forever.
Yeah.
Especially at the pro level, them balls humming at you. They got funny spins on them, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Different story.
Yeah.
So you got to get into these type of things. But like I said, the biggest thing is it was just what else? What other excuse could I have
Hmm.
for my team not playing well except we're not strong enough?
Oh, I got you. I got you.
What other excuse could I'm not the problem. It's not the offense we're running. It's not da da da. It's not da da da. Are we not strong enough? So let's get in the weight room. We're gonna work this out.
Yeah. And now
You
that's
know,
that's gone generations and generations.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look how long it's been since. I mean, think about football, and you go back to the early days. You know, college football, and they talk about when they talk about the early days of getting started and how they would run kids. You know, you couldn't get no water breaks. You couldn't get, you just run
Yeah.
until you drop.
2 a days, all
You
that
know,
stuff.
2 days, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Craziness. And then something else comes along. They try to. I mean, let's look at this way here. Look at what happened with um, when Oregon hired the Florida State coach,
Hmm.
the guy from Florida State. When they hired him in Oregon, he brought his own strength and conditioning coach with him.
Hmm.
What's the first thing he did? These guys not in shape. We're gonna run them. Run them? You're not gonna lift weights? Run them?
No,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
you 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 know run them. What happened to the weightlifting portion? Well, I think the weightlifting is a fallacy. I think people hide behind it. Basically, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting because I'd say football in Europe is probably maybe about 10, 15 years behind the US. So here we are still very much focused on the weightlifting, powerlifting sort of stuff aspect.
Yeah,
And it's like what you said. I noticed that. I mean, my trainer, the first thing he did was he took all weightlifting out of my program, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do?" And he was like, "You're gonna
right.
sprint, and you're gonna get mobile." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh wait, actually, that's kind of what I need to do." And it's so crazy how you have a way of training your whole life, and it's like you say. I noticed that because I had a groin problem, and I had it for years. I thought, okay, this is just me. I'm 25 years old. It's not going to go anywhere now. And all of a sudden, it went in 4 weeks, and I haven't.
Yeah,
And it was just because, like you kind of alluded to, just that sprinting aspect and getting mobile and being used to training full velocity and training exactly how you're going to play rather than just going to a gym and squatting up and down in a linear motion for an hour and then going home. And you realize that the only thing that, well, the best thing that translates to this sport is moving at speed. And I think a lot of people out there, I think people are kind of afraid of that. I think they're afraid of being told that they're wrong, and like you say, there's a lot of money involved in the strength and conditioning business, and that might be why you haven't been contacted by the big boys.
yeah. I got something to say. No, but think about it this way too. I mean, think about it. Let's look at Let's look at it this way.
Yeah,
According to everybody, the most valuable player on the football field is who?
the
The
quarterback.
quarterback. How much weight does he lift?
Yeah, yeah. When you put it like that, yeah, exactly.
They may lift in college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because that's part of the team. Rah rah. We part of this college. We the team. Da 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 da. I'm gonna lead the team and all that kind of stuff. At the pro
yeah.
level, how much them guys be? How much them guys lift? How much?
No, you got a great point. I mean, the best quarterbacks ever aren't the ripped guys and the most muscular guys. They're just guys that are good at throwing the football and making the right decision.
So yeah. So that's what like I said. So if you get into that type of stuff,
Yeah,
um, what even like something that fascinates me is nobody talks to the kicker about lifting weights. That dude kicking the ball a mile. Like, hey, dude, you lift some weights and kick it, 70 yards
yeah, yeah, yeah.
instead of.
No, yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So I mean, so if you look at certain things, you go okay, but like I said, I think, like I said, weightlifting, I think it's valuable.
Yeah.
I think it's important because but I think it's gone too far at the same time.
Mm.
I mean, I got friends. I got a friend of mine. He played pro football. He's
Yeah.
he's he's 55. I'm 55. You know. Now, if we walk into the gym right now, he doesn't work out, but he can still put up 500 pounds on a bench press.
Damn.
He ain't played in the field 30 years. You don't lift like that. But and I think that's what we forget too. Is like, you know, it's like when is enough enough? When is
Yeah.
enough strength enough strength? And that's this whole, this whole, not just strength and conditioning world, but the whole business we're in. When is enough enough? Just like I'll talk to people about something, and the first thing they say, can I increase it? We talk about Achilles, the range the Achilles moves through. Well, can I increase it? What do you want to increase it for?
Mm. Mm.
What do you want to increase it for? You haven't got the max out of what you're doing already, but you want to increase something.
Yeah, I get you.
And it's like, I mean, put it this way, I'm cracking up.
Mm.
I had to, I spent this weekend moving, you know,
Oh, congrats.
and thank you. And I'm cracking up because like I found myself in a very bad situation where I have, the cable machines.
Yeah.
I have a single column cable machine. And so, I think the full stack is like 150 pounds or something like that. The full stack is like 150 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I got on a dolly and I'm going up a truck. And so I got on this dolly and I'm pulling up the ramp. Well, guess what? I forgot to put the ramp level with the truck bed.
Hmm.
So I get to the top of the ramp. Guess what? It's about a 6 inch lift there.
Yeah.
Well, I can't go back down the hill. I'm not going back down the ramp, but I need to get this up here.
Yeah.
Guess what? I got it up.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, when is enough enough? Like I said, for my life, I had enough strength in me without lifting to still maneuver that thing.
Mm.
And so I think that becomes a thing. Is like, and that's the whole thing. When is enough enough? And,
So
and
so
so
no, I just wanted to ask you, coach, real quick. How do you, as a coach, how do you define like when enough is enough? Like when someone comes to you and says, "I want to get faster and stuff," how do you know when, I don't know, they're strong enough in certain movements? Is there a way that you test it, or do you just how do you figure that out?
well, no, I don't test it. The one thing is this here is like I was cracking up the other day, and this thing in general too, where people talk about deceleration training because
Yeah.
you need to absorb forces and everything,
Yeah.
you know, and so you see people jump off something, right? Well, how come nobody's jumping off 40-foot buildings?
Probably die, I reckon.
But you know what I'm saying? We keep talking about the more force you can absorb, the better you can accelerate.
Right.
Well, okay, let's try Superman shit then. Let's start the 40-foot building then. Don't talk to me about jumping off a 1 foot thing. Talk about I'm absorbing forces so I can accelerate. That 1 foot fall,
Hmm.
come on. But see, and that becomes, once again, we had this problem where people don't really understand how to get faster,
Yeah.
because that's why you're lifting weights. If you lift weights, you get faster. Not necessarily. You may, but not necessarily.
Hmm.
So now I don't know how to get faster. So I'm gonna do this deceleration thing to get fast. See what I'm saying?
I got you.
So and no, and when they do that and think about this here. So they say, this is helping me to absorb the force. I can't produce the force unless I can absorb the force.
Hmm.
So how much force we talking about producing in the first place? Nobody's ever said I need to put out 1,000 pounds of force, so I'm gonna do this drill to absorb 1,000 pounds of force.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. Yeah.
We just do the drill and say, because I can absorb this force, I'm gonna. Yeah, really? Come on. But that's what we come back to, because why? Because we are frustrated with the whole how to get faster part of this equation that we're dealing with.
Yeah, definitely. And
So,
I think a lot of people as well, I mean, deceleration training is something I've only really just started to look into. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure in your circle, but from my social media and stuff, not a lot of people speak about it. But it's definitely something that's interesting. I like the premise behind it, but like you spoke about just now, I guess there's a need to balance, because if you want to put in, like you say, 1,000 pounds of force, you kind of need to find a way to absorb 1,000 pounds of force. But then how do you do that? Like it's kind of,
yeah.
how do you do it?
But for the most part, I mean, for the most part, I mean, think about it this way too. And like I said, there's two equations to this. One is, you can't produce it if you can't absorb it. That's the one I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, whatever. But think about this here too. You know, just the whole deceleration portion, period. Like I tell people, I don't train anybody to stop. That's not on my. We throwing away the brakes.
Mm,
I'm not going to train you to. I want you to go faster. So why am I going to train you to stop? You know. What's one of the biggest problems D linemen had when they changed the rules about the quarterback?
They couldn't
They know
stop.
how to stop.
Yeah. They couldn't stop.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now what do? They slow down. They don't go
Yeah.
as hard, but they didn't learn how to. They still know how to stop. I mean, that's like a long time ago. I learned how to inline skate, the
Oh,
speed
nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and they never showed me how to stop.
Oh.
They never. Once I learned how to turn, I didn't really care about stopping anyways. I didn't really care. I figured when I had to, I would. But
Just
you know
put
what
your
I'm saying?
hands up.
I'm just, hey, show me how to turn the corner. That's all I need to know. So even like if even like motorcycles, these guys that ride motorcycles on the track, they race and stuff like that. You know, one of the things that you deal with is that man, they will hop off that motorcycle quicker than anything else to slow that thing down.
Yeah.
Brakes are bad. You know what I'm saying? Brakes is you traveling 200 miles an hour, touch some brakes, some bad things may happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But we so we've got about 10 minutes left. And there's kind of really two questions I want to get to. You spoke about often speak about training your arches in your feet.
yeah.
Um, and that's something that I is very interesting. How did you discover that, and how do we get better at training the arches?
Well, the discovery came just because of what I've been doing with like shoes and insoles and things like that, you
Yeah,
know. And so I've been working with insoles 10 years now. Yeah. About 10 years now. I've been working with insoles and everything like that and stuff. And so and that was the first thing was just to understand that arches don't need arch support, you
mm,
know. And it's like, you wouldn't support a bridge with a bridge.
mm,
The arches are the foundation what the body stands on. And so people talk about the feet, but you stand on your arches,
yeah,
and the arch is part of that whole foot structure in a sense. So that became the first thing. And then, the other part about it is understanding, just get into it more and understanding how the three arches work. And sometimes they even talk about the fourth arch. But a lot of times people talk about the windlass mechanism. And so if you flex up your big toe, the inner arch will tighten up.
mm,
But once you put weight on it, it'll collapse because it's by itself. So you
mm-hmm,
need the other two. You need the transverse arch. You need the outer arch. So when you have all three of these arches together, it holds up. And so, but a lot of people talk about that's like the word pronation.
yeah,
Some people pronation is at the ankle. Some people pronation means the arch is going to collapse because people talk about a spring-like structure where it's going to collapse and pop back up.
yeah,
And you go, okay, how many support structures that will deform?
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Now, there's arch-like structures on cars called leaf springs that are arch,
yeah,
and they're designed to flex and all that kind of stuff.
mm,
But for the most part, the arch structure should not collapse. It should hold up as you move weight over it. And it's
yeah,
and at that point in time, a lot of people talk about have flat feet. You may have flat feet, but you still have an arch structure. The structure still works. All you
absolutely,
need for the arch to work is like a millimeter of space underneath it. You got a millimeter of space underneath it, it'll work just fine.
yeah,
So that became the thing. But the training part, so it's just my involvement with just making insoles and things like that was how I came about this.
yeah,
And then just we start understanding arches, you start understanding levers and how that plays a part and how we can do some of the things we do. But for the most part, how you train arches is you have to understand where they start at. For instance, if you just sitting around, you don't need arch. If there's no weight on the body,
mm,
you don't need arch. There's no weight. If you're standing up, you really don't need arch either. There's no weight yet. There's the body weight, but there's no pressure on it yet.
yeah,
As soon as you decide to move, whether squat down, get up out of a chair, something like that, now there's pressure upon it. And when it's pressure, it's going to work. Now, what I tell a lot of people is to get them to work is you got to work the transverse arch, which is the pinky toe,
mm,
or you work the calf muscle. And once you do one of those two things, it's automatic after that point in time.
got you, got you,
And then once the arches form, everything is then all of a sudden you're stable and mobile.
mm,
If you stand flat-footed, it's hard for the upper body to move.
yeah,
once the arch form, you can squat up and down, you can shift weight, you can lean forward, lean back, you become mobile all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
But that just show you the structure of the body that, like anything with the body, I always tell people that once the brain feels safe and secure, it'll let you do whatever you want to do. And part of moving at a high rate of speed is feeling safe and secure.
Yeah.
Part of feeling safe and secure is that you support it. So when we talk, once again, back to the strength thing and lifting things, it don't matter how strong you are if the foundation is not there.
Exactly. Because it can all just come down at any point.
Yeah, right. And
That's
if you're
crazy.
struggling, if you're using muscles to struggle to stand up and support yourself, that means you can't use the same muscles to move.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Arches
got
will
you.
free up the rest of the system to do what it needs to be done.
That's crazy. So when you see a lot of these high profile athletes in every sport just have these crazy injuries out of nowhere, could you suggest that there is basically a chink in the armor? There's something that they neglected at some point that has led to that, or is it just random?
Random.
Yeah.
Injuries are random. Injuries are about, think about this here. I mean, I'm 55 and I started doing sports when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
I probably had 3 injuries in that time frame.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? I probably had 3 injuries in that time frame, and so with that they're just random. Most people don't have injuries and most people don't have, or they have very few injuries,
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, you look at a lot of high profile athletes, a lot of people, I think a lot of people that get hurt in the sport is more the weekend warrior.
Mm.
The guy that just got off the couch to go play a softball game. Or the
Mm.
guy that got up, to play weekend tag football and it turns into tackle football with his buddies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the people I think that get hurt. The highly trained athlete, I think it's just a random thing.
Yeah. No, definitely,
And
man.
you may have, like in a sport like football, you may have some things, but once again, you're getting tackled, you're falling on things, they come from, that's the whole thing about it. You like say you get a hamstring injury in football.
Mm-hmm.
Now, say you had repeated blows to your hamstrings being tackled.
Yeah.
See, they never associate the repeated blows to the hamstring as part of the problem. They just say the hamstring's weak. You see what I'm saying?
It's an accumulation, but
It's an accumulation,
they haven't figured it out.
right? Yeah, but it's not. But it's just a random thing that. So you get into those type of things, or sometimes things just go bad. I mean,
Yeah.
you get on the plane, right? You cross your fingers, it goes well. Guess what?
Absolutely.
One day it may go bad, but it's just random things. So, and that's a lot of our focus now. I think that's the industry too now. It's too much focus, and that's part of weightlifting too now. A lot of
Yeah,
it's on
it
injury
is.
prevention. So a lot of things on injury prevention. When you go, I don't know how you can prevent the injuries.
Yeah,
I just don't see how. I mean, because like I said, it's just a random thing that getting struck by lightning is a random thing.
yeah, yeah.
And
You
but
can't
it
help
does
it.
happen. You know what I'm saying? People do get struck by lightning.
Absolutely, yeah. It's rare, and it's like you got one
Yeah,
in a
but
million chance that it happens.
I don't wake up in the morning going, let me watch the sky today.
No, I like that. I
You,
like that. Yeah, I
you know
like
what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
same thing. When I go to play, I go to play. When I go to train, I go to train. I don't go train or play thinking about, let me try and prevent this injury. I'm not even trying to bring that kind of comfort to myself.
absolutely. Because then you could actually get injured.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the things I was just talking to Jermaine Dixon and even Mike Kozak about, two other guys that I know,
Yeah,
and we've been talking about what we've been doing lately. And I said it was funny that the running style that I've been doing and everything, like I'm starting to really master it. And so I'm running down the street the other day, and it was one of the first times, where all of a sudden my brain was clear.
mm.
Like it knew like nothing would go wrong. And all of a sudden, guess what? Gone.
Damn.
But see what I'm saying? My
Yeah,
brain finally felt safe and secure enough to say, hey man, we're gonna take all the brakes off and watch you just go now.
exactly. Trust
So
yourself.
I think that's what we have to get to. Yeah, it's trust. We got to take this whole thing about injuries out of people's heads.
Mm. Mm.
You
Coach,
know,
oh, go for it quickly.
No, no, I'm saying like even playing football.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't go into a football game thinking like, I mean, break my leg getting tackled today. You
yeah,
just
yeah.
play.
You just
So
play.
we should do everything else the same way. Just go out there and do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great philosophy. And just knowing that when you're out there, and then try and just focus and be present in the moment. But
Right.
coach, I wanted to ask you quickly before we wrap up. What would you say is the biggest mistake you see young athletes make? In as few words as possible.
They stop playing. And what I mean by stop playing is you got to remember. I mean, think about this here that we train too much. We got to go back to playing. What I mean is this here. When I was growing up, I would go to the basketball court. I didn't work on dribbling or shooting. I just played.
Yeah,
You know, same thing. If I go to the football field, I just played. I would toss the ball, catch it, run, spin. See what I'm saying? I'm playing now.
yeah.
We got to go back to playing.
Have fun.
That's how we learn to be athletes is by playing.
I got you.
Practicing skill doesn't make you an athlete. It makes you good at that skill.
Yeah,
So play makes us athletes. We got to go back to playing. We got to go back to our imagination. You know, whatever it may be. I mean, even like over in the states, we used to play baseball.
hmm
If you had three people, you play baseball.
yeah.
You know, one person bat, one person throw the ball, and one person in one field, and all the other fields were closed down. You see what
That's
I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah,
We
that's
we
it.
played. you
That's it.
know, I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
I learned how to play tennis against the wall because I would take I had a ball, I had a tennis racket. I go beat the ball against, and I would wow. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm playing.
yeah, yeah. Just
If you
having a
if,
good
if
time.
right, if you're going to be good, you're going to be good.
Mm.
I mean, if
I.
you look at like I said, if you're going to look at Michael Phelps, they identified his talent at the age of 11.
Hmm.
Christian Ronaldo was identified at the age of 4 or 5.
Yeah, yeah,
See what I'm saying? If you're going to be good, you're going to be good.
yeah. You'll find a way essentially.
Yeah, that like I said. So the rest of us, let's go back to playing.
Yeah,
Let's go back to playing, and because once again they talk about like hand-eye coordination. Yeah, if I throw the ball up and catch it, what am I working on? My hand-eye
and
coordination.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Coach, it's been a pleasure, honestly. I was very excited to have you on, and you've delivered. So yeah, really grateful for you coming on the show, and
Appreciate it.
I can't wait for other people to hear it, man.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. Everything, like I said, anytime, just let me know. Like I said, I'm always appreciative of you guys. And anytime you need me to do this, man, just let me know.
I will do, man. So guys, you can find Coach Adarian at Bar Running. That's BARRUNNING. He also has a website as well, barrunning.com. You can interact with him. You can speak to him about his philosophies and theories. Coach, once again, it's been a pleasure, and I no doubt speak to you soon.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Coach. See you.